As college students, we all know that college life is really fast-paced. We have to balance work, life, academic, and most importantly, our mental health.
But when we do get sick, mentally or physically, getting help just shouldn't be that hard.
We wanted to know how accessible healthcare was at Elon, what's working, what's not, and what could be better.
I'm a junior, and honestly, I didn't even know what health services was until a few weeks ago when I got really sick.
You know, mental health services was there for me during my midterms, but unfortunately it did take a little bit to get in.
I'm a junior and I've never been to health services, and I don't really know what's there. I was an orientation leader twice, so I've been to orientation 3 times, and I know that they say what's there every year, but I still don't really know, and I've never used the services there. I don't feel like they advertise it enough.
Hi, my name is Tajala. Elon has a really good system with the mental health services, but I wish we had more transportation available when we need it sometimes, because sometimes maybe we have an emergency, and as an international student, a lot of students do not have cars to get there. So if we could have 4 cars, or the transportation was easy. And also with the appointments, sometimes when you have an emergency situation, you may call them and they may not have any appointments available at the time that you really need it. So I feel like that would be really helpful. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Raya. I go to school at Elon University, and since we're talking about the mental health services, I'm a junior. I haven't really known that mental health services were available until this year when they start constantly sending out the emails about it, and still it's really far away. So if you didn't even have a car to get there, I don't think you'll be able to make any appointments within the time frame that it's set for.
What's up? My name is Dylan. I'm a freshman at Elon University. And one thing I wish about the health center is that they really just advertise it more. I haven't needed a health center, but I do think that getting emails about it, from John Dooley, would really be helpful to everybody on campus.
The same themes keep popping up. Transportation, lack of appointments, and a hard time scheduling. So how can we change that?
I also wish that the health center was closer to residence halls. I've had somebody offer me money to take them there, so I think that is a very far distance from campus. And I also wish that they had appointment hours that were available when people are not in class. I feel like that's better for scheduling purposes.
Let's break it down. These are the issues that students are running into the most.
The clinic is far from where most students live.
There's no walk-ins, appointments only, and sometimes you could be turned back. Also, insurance and billing can be confusing for students.
Clinic hours are very short. This means they don't open early or stay open late.
There's no on-site pharmacy, meaning students need to find transportation to get prescriptions.
Pharmacy at our on-campus thing, I think that was something that, when I talk to people, that's something that we all mentioned, because if we go there to get an appointment, we have to go off campus and need a ride to go pick up our own medicine for that.
Most Elon students aren't even aware of the resources available or how to even get to them. To get better insight into the topic, we interviewed Charles Evans, who's a counselor at Elon University,
and Dr. Stephanie Baker, who's the Dean of the Public Health Department, and here's some of their thoughts.
Yeah, students have expressed frustration around not being able to secure an appointment at the health center, and I don't think they have walk-ins as far as I know. At least they didn't used to have walk-ins, and so, depending on what your situation is, if you're trying to get it remedied as quickly as possible so you can kind of return back to your schedule, it's really hard when you can't get an appointment until the next day or the day after that. So you're just kind of sitting there not sure what to do.
When we were talking to Dr. Baker, she mentioned that she knew students were juggling a lot with classes, work, and relationships. When health problems comes up, they're often not sure where to go or how it's covered.
From my understanding, students are kind of keeping their main insurances that they had, when they were in high school with their families, and then they have to kind of apply that to the Elon in the North Carolina setting. So that works for some, that kind of depending on what region or area they're from, and if those insurance companies have a good coverage. But there are students who have, insurance plans that are a little bit more restrictive in terms of who they can see without like huge co-pays or without huge co-insurances. And so for those students, I think it's a lot harder to navigate finding a provider.
Every student pays a health fee here at Elon, which covers clinic visits, health promotion events, and counseling. But there's confusion around labs, prescriptions, and referrals. We need better orientation materials and more consistent messaging.
She also talked about how we make real efforts to make their services more accessible and marginalized to students. That includes the gender-inclusive forums, staff training, and culture competency, and partnerships with identity based on student groups. But it's ongoing work, so that means they're still working on it. We've piloted mobile health pop-ups, flu shot drives in dorms, and stress relief with therapy dogs, which I'm sure you've seen around campus. And these things make a difference. Health becomes part of our student life, and it's not just something that you do when you're sick.
The biggest barrier to care that he saw was that it's not logistical, it's emotional. Students don't really come in until things feel unmanageable.
These two where people are fearful is if they have like acute levels of depression, that automatically means that like they're going to be involuntarily committed. Merely discussing suicidality, right, or homicidality, like just the mere utterance doesn't automatically mean that like you're going to get hospitalized. If you are a danger to yourself or others, like that is something as mandatory reporters like we will have to navigate, and there's a certain process to that, and that is explained in session. But I think that we as practitioners are trained to fully assess you. That's what the point of like an assessment is to assess like where you are, how you got there, how you can step out of that space or navigate that space, cope with that space, and give you tools to better navigate it. And it's better for you to go and discuss that with a trained professional so you can have the tools to possibly get out of that space versus be so intimidated that something worse is going to happen that you don't take advantage of the resources at all.
He emphasized that they try to focus on early intervention, but the stigma that like still exists around asking for help makes it very difficult, and it's very real.
He also mentioned that they offer short-term counseling, group therapy, crisis walk-ins, and now they also offer virtual sections.
We have no problem like giving like the immediate resource to like what might actually be optimal. So let's say someone was like, actually like I think I could benefit from talk therapy, but I also would love to like be in like a group space to help process. That would be a great opportunity to float. The D&D and therapy group, Dungeons and Dragons and Therapy, run by Meredith Harrison, right? Where it's like like-minded individuals being able to process, but like through the context of like tabletop gaming, which has been really well received over the last few years that it's existed. Or if someone's talking about like some like very like acute level things and it's probably like out of scope and they need to see us like weekly, like every single week, and that's more than we would be available, we would like send them off campus to a practitioner in the area that would be able to accommodate that. So the biggest thing is like, and we have a groups coordinator and we also have like a resource coordinator in Tal Fish who is like literally like the guru of all things that can be connected to what somebody might want or navigate. And like we have folders with resources, all this other stuff. So it's like anything that someone is wanting or looking for, we might be able to provide it. And if we ourselves can't provide it, we'll be able to point people in the right direction. So.
It's free for all enrolled Elon students, and they want to make sure that you're not alone while you're here while you spend time here at Elon. He also mentioned that they have added now same-day appointments, meaning that if you like try to get an appointment on the same day, you can go in and they'll have someone who you can talk to, especially during midterms and finals.
That was some of our information from the interviews we took. Now we're going to be going into more of the research topics that we went on.
When you're sick, the last thing you should worry about is how far the clinic is or what it'll cost.
Some students wait way too long to reach out for help, not because they don't want to, but because they don't know how to or they're too scared to ask.
And then there's the pressure. Many people think that you have to be really bad off or in a bad mental health to seek help. But in reality, for mental health care, you can simply go to the gym, go on a walk, or just talk to your friends.
These are some things we think would actually help based on what students have said.
Walk-in availability or on-campus prescription pickup or delivery.
Better health education for first-year students during orientation will make them know what's available and what resources Elon has on campus.
Early morning and late at night appointment spots that aren't during students' classes.
Some campuses don't even offer what Elon offers for healthcare, but looking through other college campuses and exploring things through our research, I've noticed just some things that we could change, and that's what our research is about.
Change doesn't always require big money. Sometimes it's just about listening and adjusting to students' voices and concerns.
We could hire providers that know how to work with students or give them more training on how to work with young adults.
These aren't just complaints, these are just ways to make Elon healthier and for students to have a better life at Elon.
Healthcare shouldn't be a luxury. It should be some way for students to be able to show up, succeed, and thrive at Elon.
When things don't feel right physically, mentally, or emotionally, you should have a support system that shows up for you.
Elon already has made so much progress and we have great facilities here at Elon, but it's time to keep pushing to have better access to care.
Obviously, we love Elon and know how much they care for their students, but these small differences would make such a big change at school.
I just love Elon!
This is all we have for you today.
I hope you learned something new.